This is the hairstyle that has Daryl George, a junior at Barbers Hill High School in Mont Belvieu, in trouble.
It is a part of who we are.
He's been in school suspension since August 31st. That's the same week Texas outlawed racial discrimination based on hairstyles.
I just don't understand. I don't understand. Ladies and gentlemen, this video is brought to you by TatumStore.com. TatumStore.com. Get the merch link in the description section. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notification. Anytime I go live, make a video, make sure you still subscribe to this channel. Like this video, comment on share this video. Let's get into this. And ladies and gentlemen, we got the hoodies launched already. So go check out the hoodies. We got the new hoodies available for you. Even the four-time indictment champ, we have those in hoodie form. We have only the premium hoodies. The mid-level hoodies we have to restock on because they're already out. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you guys about this particular situation out of Texas where a young boy got suspended from school and got in trouble from school because he has dreadlocks. Now, I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, so I'm a Texas boy. I went to Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School right in the hood in Stop 6. And so I understand. I wasn't born yesterday. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth and living up in the foothills. So I understand what it's like to be involved in black culture. I've been in black culture my whole life. All of my family is black. I didn't even date a white woman until I was a junior in high school, junior in college. So, and I'm not just to say that's anything special, but I'm just saying, like, I've always been involved in black culture, and it's always been a part of who I am. And I want to play this clip because it bothers me that some black people, and typically it's the poor, ignorant amongst us, typically, not all, that literally makes a fuss about things like this. If the school says you cannot wear dreads, you need to cut your dreads off or go to another school. Or your cornrows, what they call it, your braids, you need to cut that stuff off, cut your hair, or go to another school. I'm going to play this clip so you can see exactly what the scenario was or what the conversation was. But after listening to this already, I almost can imagine that there's more to this story. I almost can imagine that the school system have something else that they would add, that they probably have a perspective than what this mama is saying. She's literally crying racism and saying that they only, targeting him, I guess, because he's black. They're trying to frame it like that. And roll the clip.
This is the hairstyle that has Daryl George, a junior at Barbers Hill High School in Mont Belvieu, in trouble.
It is a part of who we are.
He's been in school suspension since August 31st. That's the same week Texas outlawed racial discrimination based on hairstyles.
I had a meeting with the principal and assistant principal.
Darisha.
And they said that it's because the Crown Act doesn't cover the length of his hair.
According to the dress code posted to BHISD's website, the policies were established to teach grooming and hygiene, instill discipline, and ensure students are dressed in a manner that is clean and neat. For male students, that means their hair cannot extend below their eyebrows or earlobes, not even if the hair is gathered or pulled back.
Now, think about this for a minute. Why do you think the school is implementing this and putting this into place? Because they hate black people? No, because not every black person got dreads. Okay? My hair was like this when I was going to school. Until my senior year, I grew my hair and I had braids. But at the end of the day, if I had to cut them, I had to cut them. My daddy wasn't pleased with my braids. He might didn't really like it like that. But my school didn't have a problem with it, so I grew them. And then I eventually cut them off. Of course, when I went to college, I cut my hair off. All right, I didn't need braids and all this stuff when I went to college. It just wasn't a thing. So not every black person cuts their hair or have their hair in braids and dreads. So to have a policy in place, I would argue that most black people have haircuts like this instead of braids and dreads and stuff. I would argue. But anyway, so I don't think the policy specifically is to demonize black and brown bodies. I think it's trying to teach you hygiene and for you to be in a professional manner, because that's what life is going to require from you. Life. You can't go to a job with your hair looking any kind of way. You can't go work for a company with your hair looking any kind of way. You just can't. That's the society we live in. You own your own stuff. You can do whatever you want to do. But until you get to that point, there's a standard of living. There's a requirement. Unless you're a celebrity or entertainer, most successful black people do not have dreadlocks. And I don't think it's a problem to have dreadlocks. But at the same time, if you go into a school and they have requirements, why does it got to be racism and not you just define the requirements? As if white people don't have hair below their earlobes or their eyebrows. Okay.
I want them to change their policies. I want them to stop being discriminatory against black and brown kids.
Discriminatory.
Not just mine, but any other black and brown kid.
Darisha George says her son has not worn his hair down since school started in mid-August.
I'm trying to figure out how he's getting violated when y'all never seen his hair let down. How do y'all know it's below his eyebrows?
This is her son's first year at the school. The family just moved to the area, and the hair problems are not just causing them headaches. It's impacting Daryl's entire high school experience.
Really?
His grades are failing. Like, they're going down drastically. He's not getting a proper education. He's not getting a proper instruction.
I'd like to go back to class and do what I need to do to get my education.
Now, let me say this. I don't know the truth. I'm not at that school. When I look at and I listen to the explanation that's been presented in front of me, why would a school, after Texas have already ruled that you can't discriminate against hairstyles, right? Why would a school continue to proceed in that direction? Do I believe mama? Kinda. Has the boy been having his hair down the whole time? And then when he gets interviewed on television, he puts it up in he wraps it up and folds it up over the top where it's not protruding down past his earlobes. Is that what's happening? And they're coming out because they can make a stink. It'll go viral. Everybody's going to believe them. You believe all people that make accusations. And then come to find out the boy been wearing his hair down at school. And then they put it up to go on TV. Could it be a situation where they're discriminating against the kid because of his hair? If you're talking about race, I don't think so. If you're talking about discriminating against a hairstyle, then that could be a possibility. Is it possible? Yes. Is it plausible? I don't think so, in my opinion. I just think they make too much of a deal of this. You knew before you went to the school what the requirements were. If now all of a sudden, he hasn't been in detention the entire school year. It doesn't seem like he's been in detention the entire school year. He's only been in detention just recently. And they claim he's been having his hair like this the whole year, but he hadn't been in detention the whole year, unless I'm making a mistake about it. Yeah, so when you look at it, you say, well, has he been in detention the entire year? It doesn't appear that he's been in detention the entire year. It appears that he's just recently been in detention, and they're not criticizing his hairstyle. They're criticizing the length of his hair. Now, I would love to hear more information before I make a total criticism of it. I mean, like a total meaning a final criticism of it. I just think that people always want to go viral. They always want everything to be about race, and they don't want to take accountability for their own actions. You know, now mama is suing the governor and now suing the school district and because of his hair. And it's like, really, if you think it's affecting his education, then maybe you need to do something else with his hair so he can get an education. Maybe you can take that step. I just find it highly unlikely. And I almost would argue if we look up the demographic of the school, I'm pretty sure he ain't the only black kid at the school. So what are the other black kids are doing? You know, these are things that cross my mind, and these are things that bother me when it comes to these situations. You know, if my school said Brandon can't wear dreads at the school or Brandon can't wear braids at the school, we'll just cut the braids off or go to another school. Because what's more important, your hairstyle or your education? So you may have to cut your hairstyle because your education is more important than your hairstyle. And if they're going to keep holding you in this particular situation, then maybe we should cut your hair and you can finish your school and do well in school. You can still sue the people because you were forced to cut your hair because of this thing, and you can sue for retribution. But if you think you're going to just keep fighting this thing all the way tooth and nail to the end and you risk your education and failing in school because of a hairstyle, I just don't think that that's appropriate. And it's always seemed like it's us that's arguing about this. I guarantee you that white kids had their hair long too. When I was in school, kids used to always wear their hair down and bangs and all kind of stuff white kids used to wear. I feel like black kids used to have their hair a lot tighter around the head and a lot more shorter or a lot shorter than white kids would. White kids had long hair, black kids didn't. Unless you somehow had braids or dreads, which most kids really didn't have. Most of us didn't. Out of the group of friends that I hung around, most of us didn't have braids. We just didn't. Me, I didn't. My brother didn't. One of our good friends, DJ Davis, didn't. Ernest Mason didn't. Mike Turner didn't. Nobody on the offensive line did. Like, look at the football team. None of us had dreads and braids like that. Maybe like one or two people had it. But at the end of the day, you can't cry about it being racially related if not all of that race have that issue. And if white people only had short haircuts, then I would understand. There's white people that they probably – think about this. I bet they made the policy for white kids if this is a primarily white school. Why? Because why would they make a policy for 2 black kids? They make an overarching policy of the majority of the kids that go to the school. Or they're trying to keep black kids out. Oh, they're going to keep 2 black kids out? Because therefore, if all the black kids had a short haircut, they could half of the school be full with black kids. So they're not going to make a – it just bothers me that we can't compartmentalize. I just feel like that for us to jump to the conclusion that they made these policies specifically for black kids, I just think that's dumb. I think that's not a good conclusion. I want to hear from the school district. I want to hear from the teachers what they really think about it. Not what they got to say because they're getting sued now and they don't want to go get into trouble and they got to settle with the kids and they don't want to be called racist. So they go, oh, we apologize for our discriminatory practices. I want to know what the real theology is and what the real demographic of the school is. Anyway, I got to get on the radio. I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm